Hey over there, Joe Lunchbox.
And Joy Nightingale.
And today we've landed right here outside of Oyster Bay on Long Island. See, today is Oyster Festival. And it's a weekend every year in October celebrating oysters here on Long Island. It's a big fair, festival, whatever you want to call it. We love to go. We're excited to bring you along. But you might be wondering why we said outside of Oyster Bay if it's in Oyster Bay. You see, parking is always terrible. They have lots outside. So we're in Syosset. We parked at the train station. Now we have to get on the line to get on a shuttle bus, which takes us to the festival. And then all the fun begins. But we wanted to show you the whole process of getting there if you want to come next year to the Oyster Festival. So that's what we're doing. So hopefully you like eating some oysters or just going to festivals and fairs, because that's what we're doing today.
Yep.
So if you do, you should like this video. If it's your first time, we'd appreciate if you subscribe to our channel. If it's not, what are you waiting for? Do it now. Leave comments down below. What weird food festivals should we find and go to? But I think it's time. Step right up. Let's go for this ride. Nothing like getting on a school bus. We're about I'd say 10 to 15 minute drive from where the festival's at. It is nice that other towns let the festival use their parking lots, like the Syosset train station. And this is free. There are paid lots the closer you get. Some authorized by the festival. Others are people's backyards that they're charging $20 to park. But this was a free parking that we chose. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a line that we have to get on to wait for the shuttle bus. Next bus has come. We've been waiting for like 20 minutes. Hopefully we get on this one. I don't know. We're so close. We're getting on the bus. We just made it. Now we start singing songs, right? The wheels on the bus go. No? Other people are singing it. It wasn't only me. See the wheels on the bus go round and round. And we made it. The bus drops us off at the Midway. We're gonna come back to the Midway, but I'd like to show this company, Newton Shows. We're in business for fun. When I was 16, I want to say, they came to our town, and I was working the carnival with the Boy Scouts. We had a little food booth, and they went, "Do we need someone to work? Anyone want?" And I worked for Newton Show when I was 16 in like 1998 for 3 days. And the Midway isn't actually near the fair. You have to cross railroad tracks to go to the fair. And it has to be one of the biggest fairs I know of on Long Island. Booth's there, booth's here, booth behind us, and the Midway's on the other side of the tracks.
Crazy.
It's a big fair, or festival. I keep saying it. It's the Oyster Fest. It's fair to say I'm gonna mess up that name again while we're at the Oyster Fest. There it is. Look, we have some fried oysters. There are craft tents. There's more food tents than we know what to deal with. Now, the thing I love about the Oyster Festival that makes it different than other festivals is that we actually are on the water here in Oyster Bay. And there's some boats you could like go on and check out, which is a lot different than most festivals that we have gone to. You can even park here if you had a boat to come to the festival. Yeah, we're gonna go check out like crafts and food and definitely eat some oysters, but I like to show you the stuff that's different than other festivals. A reason to come here. There's not that many festivals. You have to forge sandy beaches to get to the next spot. This boat docking right now, the Christeen, is actually 138 years old, and the festival here is free. The parking where we parked is free. There are some paid lots. The shuttle bus was free, but you actually could go out on a boat ride for this for $20 a person, which to me is an awesome experience. I made a mistake. It's not $20, it's $15 a person to go on the boat.
I think on their website, unfortunately, they said 20.
And I also didn't know that we went all the way, we got to the festival and ran to the boats. We have to run all the way back to buy the tickets to get on the boats. So we're gonna get on the Christeen, a 40-foot gaff rigged sloop. Is the oldest remaining oyster sloop in North America. Christeen was originally built in 1883. We learned there is a time spot. Yeah, we're getting on the 3 p.m. spot. I love everything you see. Like here's the Oyster Bay Community Row building, but there's people here rowing on machines. It's the coolest bicycle ever. I would be afraid to ride it, but I wish I could. I love it actually has a steering wheel at the top. See? Wooden boat. Item May under construction. They're restoring it. Yeah, they're building it. We actually get to go on the boat they're building. Or fully restoring. I see preserving a piece of Oyster Bay's history. And looking from the thing that we see, the boat we're going on, I think they also restored that boat. So they had a sign about it being here beforehand. I love the shipping industry and all that stuff on Long Island. And like, that's the point of this festival. Like, yeah, there's Midways at everywhere. There's food at everywhere. Trust me, we're gonna do those. But this is what I come to see. The fact that we're at a festival in a wood workshop as they're restoring old boats. Joy, it's my biggest fan.
Wow.
Just a little glimpse inside. Yeah, I love the wood bench, and you can see with a staircase down to it.
Did you see the motor?
You can also smell the paint.
You can see in there. It is going to be beautiful when it's all done. This is so cool, like even to a point of like looking in what would be behind like the skeletal.
Yeah, the bones of the ship that they're building. It's funny, it says it's a restoration. That looks like a full rebuild.
Yeah, seriously.
The devastation, those are all oyster shells being dumped from everyone eating all the oysters. It's crazy how much there is to see. From Sea Grant talking about eating fresh and caught in New York State, to New York Marine Rescue, Atlantic Marine Conservation Society. We have like Volunteers for Life with barn owls, stuff like Sagamore Hill. We actually did a video at Sagamore Hill. We'll put a link down that below. These are more like the environmental and non-profits, stuff like that. Support the Baymen, support your harbor. See all the lobsters, the pots are just steaming them in. I love how the way it's set. There's like the normal fare food, and then we're in the section that's all the seafood because it is the Oyster Fest. That's what I'm looking for. Good old oysters. What do you want, Joy?
I want
Lobster mac and cheese, ahi tuna, lobster rolls. This line we're about to get on for the oysters. I will be honest, they are a little more expensive than the restaurant, but worth it when you're at Oyster Fest. We got on the end of the long line to get some oyster on the half shell. We have to be smart about this. Because it is such a long line, Joy's gonna go venture around and find other food for us to enjoy while I wait here for the oysters.
I'm gonna go do a loop, see what's.
Yeah, I like it all, so she can choose anything, I'll be happy. This is the first time the Oyster Fest has been here because of all the unpleasant things that happened in the world in a few years. So it looks like everyone that didn't come out the past 2 years is out this year. This crowd is crazy. We have about an hour and 42 we have to be back to get on the boat. I'm looking at this line. I'm hoping I have a chance to get said oysters I'm waiting for. We got 5 oysters for $15 and you can see them all just stacked there. I'm just entering where the queue begins with the stanchions, and Joy is already back with a plate of mussels and wine sauce. This is a good snack, Joy, before we get online.
I know. I figured it would be.
It tastes like mussels, and that's a good thing, because I love mussels.
Actually, very nice.
They're delicious.
I wasn't expecting it to be like this many for that.
How much was this plate of mussels?
It was only $18. Pretty decent amount.
With seafood, mussels is one of my favorite seafoods there is to eat. But if you come to something called the Oyster Fest, you should get the oysters from the Oyster Festival. And even though it was on a really long line, it moves quite quick because look how many people they have here chucking all these oysters. I'm just like, can I just get that tray? I could devour that in like 10 minutes. They got some big oysters here. I'm excited. It's funny, I've eaten a lot of oyster on the half shell, but I've never used one of those knives and opened one of the shells. Then you come here and you get your platters. We got our oysters, we got our mussels. We found a spot sitting behind the firehouse on some grass. And boy, does this look good. Yeah, this is crowded this time. I mean, it's good for them, but I wasn't expecting it to be
Like this.
yeah, so crowded. You gotta prepare them. A little lemon
And cocktail sauce.
and a little cocktail sauce. I'm gonna take the little one, Joy, for you.
Make sure it's all good.
They're chucking quick, so there is a little piece of shell in them.
Oh, okay.
But you saw how fresh those are? Long Island oysters. So delicious. I know some people are creeped out a little by the texture. I personally love it. I love that flavor that you get, the sweetness of the oyster with the brininess of the water, mixed with a little kick of spice from the cocktail sauce. Builds strong muscle. It's funny. These are supposed to be in a white wine. I don't taste any sauce. They just taste like they were steamed, but they are delicious.
I think they were steamed in the wine.
I actually like them more because we are so used to eating them in sauces like tomato sauce or white wine. And you don't taste the muscle truly.
My favorite though had to be this brewery company. Was it Dogfish?
Dogfish Brewery.
And they had like a nice restaurant area.
And they make a sea salt sour.
Quench ale.
Yeah, so it's a sea salt mixed with blackened limes, a delicious beer. And instead of doing a white wine sauce, they use that.
Like a creamy sauce.
And it has to be one of the most delicious food in the world. But these
are so good though.
I took an empty.
They're like up there.
The thing we have come for.
Cheers.
Salute. That really is chucking delicious. I got ripped off. They only gave me 4 on this plate. It's supposed to be 5 for $15. But there were definitely a lot of shell pieces. Good, a little some seafood. One thing left to do: recycle the shells.
Thank you.
Lots of shells. So I was saying is, here is all the seafood food booths. Here are all the other food booths. Very cool. The Fireboat is spraying some water right now. We were gonna go into the craft booth, but I ran back to take a look at this. And like every fair, there's a craft booth. Not a booth, a building full of booths. And that's what this is. I'm not looking as Joy gets me a Grateful Dead Christmas gift. I didn't see a thing. I ain't saying nothing. Looking at craft, we did good. We found a kaleidoscope and a pepper grinder. I like it. You saw the kaleidoscopes we're looking at. I always believe sharing cool artists is information. So if you want to get stuff, this is the woman who made the kaleidoscope here at Fantasy Glass Works. And this is the awesome pepper grinder we got. I mean, Long Island, you gotta get a lighthouse. We're at an Oyster Fest. It works. Fitting with the theme. And this is the person that made that lighthouse pepper grinder. twistandturndesigns.com. I love homemade cool woodworking and glassworking and stuff like this. It makes me so happy, and that we can share their information even cooler. Everyone wants to eat at the Oyster Festival. Look at this dog begging. Mommy, give me some. Give me some. I want some. Yep, you can bring your dog here because it's in a park. I think we found the next thing to eat today. Fresh crab roll and banana Fosters. Over here we have a soft shell crab sandwich, but that creeps Joy out seeing the crab. There are a lot of food options. When you come to this fair, be prepared to eat. If you aren't, you're doing it wrong. good price for that crab roll. $12. And Joy's looking at this $8 banana Foster. $20, little man. You gotta put that money in my hand. Oh mio, my jungle love. Oh wee. Sometimes you should realize price reflects quality. I got this crab roll, which I'm gonna enjoy. And then I'm like, wow, that color looks off. Oh, it's not a crab roll. It's a mock crab roll. It's pollock. Did I ever tell you I don't like mock crab, I like crab? Not a fish tattooed on my hand. It's a real crab. The good thing Joy doesn't mind mock crab meat. I always wish they advertise when it says fresh crab and it's not fresh crab. I should have known, Joy. The line was too short. But now we're in the line to get a soft shell crab sandwich.
See, here goes the train. And the Midway is over on that side. Bye, train.
And we also need some sauce.
Some sauce.
Yeah. Watching for my nice soft shell crab, nice and crispy and fried sandwich. Look at that. You can't even see it has eyes to look back at you. It looks yummy though. Hey, you can put it on the bun. You just need a little tartar sauce.
Tartar.
Yeah.
Oh, squish. Sahara.
That's real crab. That's delicious. Anyone that's afraid of their food looking at them, I didn't see any eyes. It's just delicious. Try it. The Newsday dog is following a real dog.
Wants to be with his dog.
The other dog's not phased.
Stop. It's not
It's 2:40. We are back to pick up our tickets to go on the boat. And I love the random stuff, like there's a unicycle school here. Like what? If you want to learn how to ride a unicycle, I might actually take them up on this offer. The Christeen Oyster Sloop has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1991 by the United States Department of Interior. And now we got our bracelets and we are about to get on that boat. Good view of the Fireboat spraying its water again. I love seeing the boats. That's not the boat for us right now. We're back at the dock, about to board the sailboat. Sail aboard this National Historic Landmark ship. Oh, I cannot wait. A 40-foot gaff-rigged sloop is the oldest oyster sloop in America and a National Historic Landmark. She was originally built in 1883 for Captain William Smith in Glenwood Landing, New York, for harvesting oysters in Oyster Bay and Cold Spring Harbor. After surviving 16 major hurricanes, numerous nor'easters, 2 sinkings, and severe neglect, Christeen was returned home to Oyster Bay in 1992. A dedicated group of volunteers worked timeless on the restoration of Christeen, working alongside a full-time shipwright, and raised more than $300,000. Christeen was completely restored and launched in 1999. You could sign up for a harbor tour, sunset cruise, marine ecology tour, or a private charter. It said they do bachelorette parties. Imagine what happened on that ship. Just enjoying the view on the dock, waiting for our boat to leave, looking at that big house, and this one rain cloud where it looks like the rain's dropping but not making it to the ground. Here we go, we're walking down the gangplank, heading to the boat. I don't know how we all fit in that little boat though, Joy. That's what all the workers are looking at. And there's a bunch of us.
No.
Okay, guys, come aboard.
I've come to eat oysters, but this is what I came to do. You gotta watch your step.
You have to cross the wet.
And we're off. We heard the captain's safety speech. Motors running, and then we're heading out. I heard we're gonna see Billy Joel's house. I mean, it's part of the song Billy the Kid. In the town known as Oyster Bay, Long Island.
Maybe.
There's a boy with a 6-pack in his hand.
Yo, heavy drinker.
And his daring life of crime made him a legend in his time. East and west of the Rio Grande. I was paraphrasing.
Listen, folks, welcome aboard the Christeen. I do want to fill you in on some of the history of the boat. We'll point out some of the sights that we're going to see. First of all, we want you to be aware that you're on the oldest surviving boat of its kind. This is a New England Oyster Sloop, and this one touched the water for the first time in the year 1883. To give you some sense of how old this boat is, in 1883, the Brooklyn Bridge opened. In 1882, if you wanted to go to Manhattan from anywhere, you took a boat to get there. A tall building in New York City in 1883 was approximately 4 stories tall. Tallest thing in New York City was the new Brooklyn Bridge. This boat was built by Captain William Smith, who named the vessel after his wife Gertrude. Now that's Christeen. Named the vessel after his wife Christeen. These boats, these work boats, were hard worked. These boats generally lived, if they were lucky, 20 years. This is the oldest one to have survived. Christeen came back to Oyster Bay. She was sold by Captain Smith to the Jersey shore. She worked there for a while. More recently, she was discovered on the Connecticut River up at Essex, Connecticut, by a cruising sailor from here who spoke to the 2 guys who owned the boat. These guys were desperately hoping that they could save this old boat, which was badly deteriorated by that time. The guy suggested that upon learning that this boat was an Oyster Bay boat, that these are her home waters, he said, send it home, and maybe it'll live. Christeen came back to this bay on her own bottom in 1991 with wood that they milled on site themselves. The volunteers, after disassembling the boat and taking its lines, rebuilt the boat around the original 1883 keel, making it the original 1883 Oyster Sloop Christeen. About 10 years ago, that keel was done. Incidentally, that shipwright is still employed now building a companion vessel to this, the successor to the Oyster Sloop, a power-driven oyster dredge boat named the Item A. Before I get lost here, I want to point out this is West Harbor. This is Center Island behind me. You can see my dad's house on the point right here.
What's for dinner?
You are stopping anytime. Tell them Captain Pete said it'd be fine. You can just walk right in, not a problem.
I'm sure.
So, in fact, listen, this is more remarkable. The truth usually is, on the next point to the north, this guy's brother's house is up there. That's Baker's Point and his brother's house, if you ask me. You can't see it very well, and even from West Shore Road, you look over and see the house. It doesn't look big because it's built like this. You're only seeing this part of it. And the next point north is known as Baker's Point. It was named after George Baker, who owned that land for a while. George Baker was a banker. He was going around the world on his 230-foot yacht, but he came down with appendicitis. In the Pacific Ocean, they operated on the billiard table, and he did not survive. But when George Baker lived on Baker's Point, he used to come and go by seaplane to the bank job in New York. So the bank that George Baker was head of, today we know as Citibank. Designed and built the boats. The Hershoff man, seriously, he lives over here on Center Island right here. And recently, last year, the property next door to him, the oldest house on Center Island is at the top of the hill. It's an old Victorian house that's about to come into view. And about 15 years ago, I'm guessing, a pretty wealthy guy purchased the property and built his own dream house right in front of it. And when he was done, every time I went by it, I didn't agree with the guy's aesthetic sense. To me, it looked like a Ramada Inn, but that's just me. But apparently the guy who owns all the boats felt the same way, because last year he bought the property and tore the multi-million-dollar mansion down and sodded the property and rebuilt the old Victorian house. Here's where Penny Tweedy lived. Raise your hand if you know who Penny Tweedy was. You guys are just not going to do well on this test. So listen up. Penny Tweedy. Maybe you know her horse, Secretariat. She lived over here for a period in her life. She passed away and had moved away from Oyster Bay prior to her passing. But pretty remarkable. The area is full of history. become known
No,
as
this
the
is
Gold
my.
Coast
This
era.
is gonna be my house.
Right now, we're passing by Billy Joel's house behind me here.
Huh?
The house on the beach was actually the old pool house.
I guess it's Billy Joel's house. I'm
Billy
gonna own one.
decked over the pool decades ago. He still has the house. The company has been working this bay. This is a farmed area. Right now, we are still over the farm right now under all these sailboats. This is part of the farm all the way out to the Long Island Sound. The bunk that you see on the left side of Oysterman Dock, that's the Pine Island. Pine Island is actually a converted car ferry. The bridge is 30 stories above the water. And that boat would clean the oyster beds, harvest clams, and whatever else they needed it to do. There are oyster boats much smaller than that, modern oyster boats, still owned by the Flowers Oyster Company here. Whether the Oyster Company will continue past 2024 is a question. The Oyster Company leases the bay bottom from the town of Oyster Bay. The Flowers would seed the oyster beds from a shellfish hatchery on the other side of the Bayville Bridge. But the guys who are running the hatchery, part of the Oyster Company, heard that they are raising oysters in the Arizona desert hydroponically. And they said, we can't compete with that. We can't. We're maintaining boats, waterfront property, we got a hatchery in Bayville. We can't compete with that. But last summer, temperatures in the Arizona desert peaked out at about 120 degrees, and water is now in short supply in Arizona desert. The Oyster Company, incidentally, had been in business since 1887. It's a family-run company. The guy who was actually running the hatchery was married to one of the Flowers' daughters, so it still was very much in the family.
So that boat ride was awesome. My friend said he smelled diesel. I didn't smell any diesel. The history on it was awesome. The person showing us obviously knew all the facts. And now we get to go on this boat, the John J. Harvey, a decommissioned old firefighter boat. But on the last boat, we learned some history that even though this was private owned, on September 11th, 2001, when the trade centers were attacked, this boat with its private owners set sail to help the efforts down at Ground Zero using this fireman's boat. And I just think that's awesome. So they say this boat, even though it was decommissioned, is still a hero. And this boat doesn't go out, but we do get to go on it right now. Got some information on the fireboat. This fireboat was built in 1931. John J. Harvey is the first large modern fireboat in America. As all its predecessors were steam powered, she retained her original configuration except that in 1957 her 5 1931 gasoline engines were replaced by Firebank. And there it was. September 11th to 14th, 2001, called back into service. Harvey fought the fires at the World Trade Center alongside the active duty FDNY boats. And I love it. They actually have a gift shop on the boat. And I love boats when you're open and you can just go like exploring. Like, you want to go down here? Alright. We could go in here. We could go up there. This medal from the World Trade Center presented to Fireboat John J. Harvey and her crew in recognition of service to New York City during the maritime response to the attacks of September 11, 2001. Never forget. It's a cool photo of the kids on the fireboat when the water comes and they all get wet. Passing the World Trade Center. Still under construction circa 1972. They have PS-33, a third grade class made this thanking John J. Harvey for September 11th. They knew me too well. They tied it so I can't fire the cannons. So we could go up, we could go in there, and we could go down there. We just walked around the outside. Let's figure out where we go exploring. Well, this is open, so I'm heading up.
I love the Bucky shirt. Yep. One of my favorite places.
Incredible.
Everything's original except for the Ray Marine. That was put in 1935.
Oh, this must have taken a few minutes to knot.
Oh boy.
Welcome, engine room.
There we go.
This is what I was looking for. I love when you open, you can smell the fuel. You smell it, Joy?
Yeah.
This room is the entrance to the engine room. It has its muffler engines, 1, 2, and 3. And another traffic jam. I love it. Like, you want to just go down and walk this little gangplank in between the engine? Go for it. Yeah, when you realize how far down it still goes. Imagine that. Starboard side, propulsion motor, Westinghouse, original from 1931. Still here. Low amperage DC switchboard. Danger alive. If you touch it, you might not be. I love the switches. They remind me of old Frankenstein. It's alive. It's alive. Crew galley. Goodrich milk. Oh, I like these tins. Hard candies. Yeah, it's tiny, but it's all I needed. We got our sink. We got some snacks. Some log cabin maple syrup. My chock full of nut. I am set. Even a little plastic banana and orange. This is awesome.
What is that? Toaster? That's good.
I love these old toaster. It folds out and you put the toast in on each side. Alright. Going as high as we could go. We made it to as high as we could go. I wish they launched the water while we were up here. Got a good aerial view now of the Oyster Fest down there in the tents. It's funny, when we walked in, it seemed so big. From up here, it doesn't look as big. I think we have a problem.
What?
If this boat goes under, I don't think this lifeboat is going to do its job that well. I think it's going to spring a leak.
We are going to do our next water display in about 15 minutes.
We might have to hang out for 15 minutes, Joy.
Oh, we might not have to stand exactly where.
I've got the best view right here.
I don't know.
Joy's like, I'm running for it. We're not having another Splash Mountain moment, Joy. Don't worry. The camera will be fine. If you didn't see that video, we'll put a link to our camera not being fine in Splash Mountain and Disneyland down below. We've just been hanging out on the boat. They said they shoot the water off in 15 minutes. They said I wasn't standing in a smart spot. But I think this is a good spot to get this view. Oh, and boy, do they leak. That's incredible.
Oh, look at the rainbow.
I know. I was about to show the rainbow it makes.
Oh my gosh. No. No.
That's so cool. Also going off the front of the ship. Yeah, I'm glad I waited for this spot. People have been coming, going. I'm like, nah, I want to see this. But I see how you could get wet. They definitely are leaky. Joy, you having a good Oyster Fest?
I am. This is awesome.
Yeah. Went on a boat, ate some good seafood. On another boat, watching a water show from hoses on this old Fireboat. Yeah, this is awesome. And we seeing a rainbow.
They were up there.
Anything gonna cut?
Oh, watch out, watch out.
So it's time to leave the boats behind. We're gonna get a little butter beering and check out the Midway.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan, Joe? Let's go. And then back to the line to get on a school bus to go
Oh my god.
way back to our car, and I mean, it's worth it. As they're singing Alanis Morissette, we're online for butterbeer, but I'm looking at this. Rainbow cookie donut, oh yeah. Oh, look at that butterbeer, vanilla ice cream, cream soda, butterrum nouncle topped with whipped cream and butterscotch drizzle. Let's check out that donut. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, it's our butterbeer. You hear that train coming?
It's coming around the bend.
There goes the train. It is weird that the fair is split in half with the Midway on one side of the track and all the food and everything else that we've showed you so far on this side of the track. It's a butterscotch drizzle, they said. The paper said. It might just be caramel.
Really nice.
I got this rainbow cookie donut, which you can already smell the almond.
Yeah. And
It tastes just like a rainbow cookie as a donut,
success.
except it doesn't have the apricot jam between layers, but it's very good.
So vibrant.
But the flavors are on point. The chocolate's good. Like, it's not really even melting on my fingers, so it's nice and gotta bite through it. It's mildly dry. Not too dry. It's enjoyable. But I wish I had a tasty beverage to rinse it. Oh!
You taste so much more, well, to me, I tasted so much more caramel. But I'm not complaining about it. It's good.
I never knew. I'm not a cream soda guy personally, but I never knew melted vanilla ice cream and cream soda would taste so much like butterbeer. Yeah, that's good.
Hey!
You know what it almost tastes like? Ice cream frosting. I mean, a cupcake frosting.
Yeah.
I was mistaken. Joy found the jam. It is there underneath the chocolate, above
On the
the
top.
red.
Yeah.
I'm like, it tastes just like a rainbow cookie. It's good, isn't it?
So, I'm usually not a rainbow cookie person, how they're normally made with like the jam in the middle. However, fried rainbow cookies changed my world. This changed my world. I'm still not gonna go to the regular rainbow cookies.
Okay.
So I still approve of them.
Wait, hey, I came back to you. Hold on. It doesn't feel like we're in the Oyster Fest though. We've come for the Oyster Fest part, but we figured we'd show you a little bit. We have like a wacky shack. I do like that we have the history of Newton Show. I just love the art. We have this crocheting dinosaur and this man on a date with this woman. But if you can see in the shadow, her daddy don't look happy about that date. Just a normal combo. We got games. We got rides. I don't need to ride no Pharaoh's Fury boat. We already rode a good boat. It is a cute little carnival, so like if you were local, I would say, you want to bring the kids out, go to the carnival at the Oyster Fest, that's worth it. But I feel the food and all the water-based stuff, like checking out the boats, is what you come to Oyster Fest for. There you have it. That is Oyster Bay's Oyster Fest. You enjoy it, Joy?
I did enjoy it.
We've come here, probably this is about our 5th or 6th time here, but it is our first time that we actually went on a boat around the little alcove, the water area.
I like the
We
one
took
time,
boat in water for a ride.
I like the one time that they had like something that looked like a gigantic rubber ducky that sat out there.
We did once see a gigantic rubber ducky there. It was cool. And I do love coming here. I love going with my beautiful wife. I love eating the food. It really feels like it's a Long Island-based festival. It's not like a normal county fair or anything like that. It is an Oyster Fest, and it centers around the Baymen, the fishing industry on Long Island, and the seafood we get from it. So I love it. I always recommend if you're on Long Island in October, look up the dates. You should check this out. I think we can call it.
I think so.
Oyster Bay's Oyster Fest. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels.
Good eats.
Which means don't eat the crab sandwich and live life. This thing, no. Classic roundup, but like 2 of them on an access point. I don't even know what this thing is, but no. This thing is crazy. I'm trying to see, like, there are no seatbelts. They're just sitting. There it starts to spin. There starts the centrifugal force, sticking them to the walls. But rotating while doing that? Oh no. As we get on the bus, I have to just share one last thing for you. I've seen a first aid kit before. Put a body fluid cleanup kit. Oh, little kids could get motion sickness. And so can I.